Hello, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story from Russia today. I've told you a story from Russia before, didn't I? I told you about the Firebird, but today I'm going to tell you about the Fool of the World and the Flying Ship. Yes, indeed I am. I remember this story from when I was little because in my house when I was a little boy there was this book, Old Peter's Russian Tales, which is full of stories from Russia. Stories about princesses and heroes and fools and witches. This very book, if you look in the front of the book, it's got a name written in it. It's got the name, if I can find it. Where's she gone? Margaret Wilson, and that was the name of my mum. It belonged to her when she was a little girl. And she read the stories to me when I was a little boy. So now I'm going to tell you the stories. I'll tell you about the Fool of the World and the Flying Ship. A merchant and his wife had 3 sons, and the first 2 sons were very hard-working and very intelligent. And the third, you've guessed, because it's this kind of a story, the third was the fool of the world. He couldn't work to save his life, and he couldn't string a sentence together hardly. He could barely think. He was useless, but he never did anybody harm in his whole life. One day, messengers came down the road, and they found out through all the roads of the kingdom. They said the Tsar had announced that he would give the hand of his daughter in marriage. He'd make his daughter marry whoever could build him a flying ship. Yes, a flying ship that could fly through the air just as a normal ship sails on the water. It would have to have special sails that gave it lift. It would have to have special kinds of steering. If anybody could build such a flying ship, they could marry the Tsar's own daughter. Well, the first 2 sons, like I said, they were pretty clever and they reckoned they could do it. So they said to their mum and their dad, "Mum, Dad, let us go out into the world. We will study and we will learn how to do it, and then we will build a flying ship, and then one of us will marry the king's daughter and we'll all be rich." And the mum and the dad, well, they loved their 2 sons and they thought they were very clever. So they said, "Yes, sons, if anybody can do it, then you can do it." And they filled them up bags with fine clothing, so when they met the king and his daughter, they wouldn't be out of place. And they gave them packed lunch with soft white rolls and a little stoppered bottle of corn brandy, and they sent them off with hugs. They walked down the road with them till they got to the corner and hugged and said, "Goodbye, darling, goodbye, good luck, away you go." And what happened to them next, I don't know, because they walked out of the story, and sorry to tell you, they were never seen again. Well, the youngest son, the fool, wanted to go too. He didn't fool himself that he would be likely to do it, but he wanted at least to try, and he said to his mum and his dad, "Please let me go and see if I can build a flying ship and marry the king's daughter." And the mum and dad said, "No, you're too stupid, you won't do it." But he nagged them every day, "Please, mum, please, let me go, please. Oh, come on, please, let me have a try, at least, come on." And then the mum and the dad realised that if he went, at least he'd be out of their hair. He'd be no trouble to them anymore. So they nodded. And they sent him on his way. They didn't give him fine clothes. They didn't give him soft white rolls or a stoppered bottle of corn brandy. They gave him a few old hunks of black bread and a flask with some water in it, and they sent him on his way. Didn't even walk down the end of the drive, let alone to the end of the corner. Well, the Fool of the World walked through the world, smelling the smells, looking at the blue sky, listening to the songs of the bird, and he hadn't been walking long when he saw an old man sitting at the side of the road. "Hello, old man," he said. "Hello, fool," said the old man. "Come and sit with me. Show me what's in your bag. Have you got anything to eat? Open it up and we'll share what's there." "I'm really sorry," said the fool. "I don't think I've really got anything you'd want to share, just a few old crusts of bread." And he opened up the bag. Inside, oh my word, there were soft white rolls, and there were slices of delicious meats, and there were candied fruits and all sorts of delicious things. "How did those get in there?" "See," said the old man, "everybody deserves a fair crack in this world. Maybe your mother and your father didn't love you so much, but the world will still give you what you deserve." So they shared the bread and the meats and the fruits. And then they opened up that flask of water, and guess what was in the flask of water? It wasn't water, no, the most delicious corn brandy. When they were all finished, the old man said, "So, fool, what sets you on the road?" "Well," said the fool, "I've decided to build a flying ship, because whoever can build a flying ship gets to marry the king's daughter." Said the old man, "Well, here's the thing. Take this little hatchet," and he gave him a little hatchet. "Take this little hatchet and walk 100 paces into the forest. When you've walked to 100 paces, go up to the tallest tree that you can see and give it a tap with my hatchet. Tap. Then cross yourself 3 times. 2, 3. Throw yourself backwards and lie on the ground with your eyes closed. Do not open your eyes until any sound is gone." Well, this sounded very strange to the fool, but he was good at being polite, and he never harmed anybody, not even once in his life, not even by making them feel bad. So he took the hatchet and he walked 100 paces into the forest. 1, 2, 3, 45, 40, 70, 73, 8, 99, 100. And when he got to the 100th step, he looked, and there was a tall tree. So he gave it a tap with a hatchet. Then he crossed himself 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Threw himself backwards, closed his eyes, and waited. There was a tapping, and there was a knocking, and there was a ripping and a roaring, but he kept his eyes closed just like he'd been told. And after a while, all the noises stopped. He even waited a little bit after that, but then he opened his eyes and sat up. Next to him was the hatchet, all worn down to just a splinter and a nubbin. But more than that, in front of him, where the tree had been, there was an enormous ship, a flying ship with furled sails and a tiller for steering and a little cabin to sit in and benches along either side. A perfect ship. So he jumped into the ship and took hold of the tiller and took hold of one of the ropes, and he pulled the rope and held the tiller, and the ship rose up into the air, and he steered it as it skimmed across the top of the trees in the forest. Well, he hadn't gone far when, looking down, he saw a man lying with his side of his head pushed to the earth. He called down, "Hey, you down there, what are you doing?" The old man, not the old man, the man with his head pushed against the ground said, "I'm just listening. With my hearing, I can hear what's happening all across the world. I'm listening to the results of the sports that are happening." "Well," said the fool, "why don't you come in and sit with me in my boat, and we'll go adventuring?" So the listener got into the boat, and they skimmed off, and they hadn't gone long before they saw somebody hopping down the road with one leg tied right up behind them. They called out, "Hey, you with one leg tied up behind it, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm hopping to work." He says, "Why don't you untie your leg and use both legs instead of hopping?" He goes, "I can't. If I use both legs, I go so fast that I cover the whole world in less than a day. So I have to hop, so I go at a normal speed." "Well, don't hop. Climb in here and sit with us in the boat." So the speed walker climbed into the boat, and away they skimmed. Well, they hadn't gone long before they saw somebody with a bow and an arrow drawing a bead. They shouted, "Hey, you down there, what are you trying to do? You trying to catch a bird to cook for lunch?" So it's not a bird. "I can shoot so far. I'm going to shoot the snow off the top of the highest mountain in Asia." "Well," they said, "why don't you come in and have a ride with us instead?" So off they went, skimming over the treetops. Well, they hadn't gone long before they saw somebody walking with a sack full of bread on his back. "Hey, you," they said, "why are you carrying all that bread?" He said, "I'm looking for my lunch." "What do you mean you're looking for your lunch? You've got a whole sack full of bread." "Oh, that," he said, "it's barely a snack. I can eat so much that bread on my back wouldn't even touch the sides. I'm looking for a proper meal." "Well," they said, "why don't you climb up into the boat and come with us, and together we'll go adventuring." So he climbed up and he joined the listener and the speed walker and the shooter. And they hadn't gone long before they looked down and they saw somebody walking around a lake and around and weeping. And they said, "Hey, you, why are you weeping?" He said, "I'm looking for something to drink." He said, what do you mean you're looking for something to drink? There's a whole lake just there. You could drink from that. No, he says, that's nothing. It wouldn't even wet my tongue. I'm such a drinker, I could drink all of that. It wouldn't even touch the sides. Well, they said, why don't you climb up into the boat and we'll go adventuring together? So he climbed up and he joined the listener and the speedwalker and the shooter and the eater. And they carried on going, skimming over the top of the trees. Well, they hadn't gone long before they saw a peasant walking with a big sack full of straw on his back. And they said, hey, what's that straw for? He said, oh, it's special straw. Wherever I spread my straw, wherever I throw it on the ground, it becomes cold and icy and frozen. Well, they said, why don't you join us in the boat? So he climbed up and he joined the listener and the speedwalker and the shooter and the eater and the drinker. And together they went skimming over the top of the trees. Well, they hadn't gone long before they looked down and they saw a peasant walking along with a faggot of sticks, and it's a bundle of sticks all tied together with string on his back. They said, hey, you, what are you doing walking with those sticks on your back? He said, oh, the magical sticks. Wherever I throw my sticks, an army appears. Well, they said, why don't you climb into the boat and join us and we'll go adventuring. So he climbed up into the boat and joined the listener and the speedwalker and the sharpshooter and the eater and the drinker and the guy with the straw. And they went skimming off across the top of the trees. And they didn't meet anybody else, because very soon they came to the palace of the Tsar. And then they landed their boat, lowering down from the sky. A beautiful flying ship with its beautiful sails landed in the front garden at the Tsar's palace. And the fool jumped out and he says, I've got a flying ship. I've come to marry the princess. But the Tsar looked out of the window and he could see that the fool of the world and his friends were not noble men. They didn't look rich. They didn't wear fine clothes. They just looked like ordinary people, ordinary working people like me. They looked like peasants. So he sent a messenger out. He sent a messenger out to say, if you truly are the one to marry the princess, you must fetch and bring back a bottle of the water of life from the fountain that gives life at the end of the world. You must bring it back, and if it's not back by the time I finish my tea tonight, you will not marry her. Oh, the fool heard this news and he felt awful. He said, I'm sorry, I thought I'd done it. I got a flying ship, but nobody could go to the end of the world and come back. Hey, said the runner, you've forgotten about me. I could get there and back easily. Just if I untie my leg, I'll be back in minutes. So they untied his leg and off he went. Barely put one foot to the ground before he disappeared over the horizon. Away he went so quickly he got to the end of the world in no time at all. And he found the fountain and filled a little bottle. And then he said, well, it was nice to stretch my legs. I might just have a little sleep before I return to the fool in the palace. He put his head down on the ground and fell asleep. Oh no, but the fool was waiting there and waiting, and time was passing. He was getting worried. He said, where is he? Has something happened to him? How can we ever know? We'll never see him again. How could we? Who could help with this? Who could help with it? Oh, have you forgotten about me? Said the listener. I can hear what's happening on the other side of the world easily. If I listen out, I'll be able to hear where he is. Do it now, don't wait. So the listener put his ear to the ground and he listened. He listened. He said, oh, I can hear him snoring. He's snoring. He's laid down next to a windmill and he's sleeping in the shade. And I can hear a fly buzzing its wings on one of the windmill's sails. Oh no, that's awful. Well, nobody can go and get him because he's the sharp, fast walker, so hearing him's not much use. I think that's it, guys. I think that's the end of the adventure. Hey, said the sharpshooter, have you forgotten about me? Remember, I can shoot the snow off the top of the mountains. Shouldn't be any problem. I will wake him up by shooting an arrow and making it hit the windmill. So he did. He put an arrow to his string of his bow and he pulled it back. Off it went and slammed into the windmill sail. And the noise woke up the guy with the fast walk, who woke up and went, oh, what was that? Wait, what? And he ran back as fast as he could. And he was there just as the Tsar was finishing his pudding. Water. Well, you can imagine the Tsar still wasn't happy. So he thought of another plan. He said, well, you've done very well. We should give you a feast. Fool, I will give you 12 roasted oxen and 5 cartloads of bread, and I will expect you to finish them all. Because if you do not, that means you are not grateful, and if you're not grateful, you won't treat my daughter right. You go and sit outside, and we will bring the food to you. So the fool went outside. He was like, oh no. How can we do this? I mean, I can't eat. I don't need a bit of scrap any. I'm not a big eater. I can't. I think that's it. I think that's the end of the adventure. Because who could possibly help me with this? Ah, you've forgotten about me, said the eater. That'll barely be a snack for me, and I don't mind changing my evening meal for a snack. Let them bring it on and we'll finish it off. So they brought out, the palace servants brought out 12 roasted oxen and 4 cartloads of bread, and they put them all down and went inside. And the eater set to nom 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 nom, nom 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 nom, gone. And when the servants came back, there was nothing but a few crumbs. Well, they said, the Tsar hadn't given up. The Tsar said, well, you've eaten. I must give you a drink, and I will give you 12 hogsheads of corn brandy to drink. And if you don't drink it, you're not grateful. And if you're not grateful, you won't care for my daughter. So he brought out these 12 hogsheads. Hogsheads are like huge, great big barrels, really big barrels. And the poor fool looked at it and said, well, we're lost here, guys. I mean, we managed with the whole water of life business and the sleepy thing and all of that, and we managed with the eating. But look at all this. I'm not a big drinker. I couldn't drink half. I couldn't drink any of that. I could barely drink a bucket. Who could help us with this? Hey, have you forgotten about me? Said the drinker. 12 hogsheads of corn brandy. That's not even touched the sides. Oh, that's barely even a sip for me. Let them bring it, and I'll help you out. So the castle servants brought out the hogsheads of corn brandy, and they went back inside. As soon as they'd gone, up came the drinker. Glug 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 glug. That's 3. Glug 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 glug. Let's say that's 10. Glug 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 glug. 12. All done. And when the servants came back out again, all the hogsheads were empty. Well, the Tsar was getting angry now. He said, we will have to do away with them. So he said, you and your men have been doing so well. Come into my sauna. A sauna's like a very hot room, and it makes you sweat, and it's quite popular, but he made it super hot. He made it so hot that nobody could even really go inside. And then when they went inside, he locked the doors behind them. He locked them in so they would be cooked to death. Oh no, said the fool. I'm so sorry, everybody. I brought you all in here on an adventure, and now we're going to die cooked to death in this super overheated sauna. I'm so sorry. Who could help us with this? You got it? Hey, said the guy with the straw. Don't you forget about me. I've got my straw. Where I put my straw, it gets cold and icy. So he threw his straw down on the floor inside the sauna. Threw it down and threw it down. Instantly, it was cold and icy in there. In fact, it was so cold and icy that they all had to huddle on top of the stove, blowing their hands to stay warm, and shivered all night till the morning came. The Tsar came. He opened the doors to see how they'd cooked, and they said, welcome, come in. Oh, he was angry. He had one last chance. He said, right, you've passed all the tests. You've solved all the problems. There's only one thing. Whoever marries my daughter will have to look after her. They'll have to keep her safe. And you can't keep her safe unless you've got an army, really. So unless you show me that you have an army, I'm afraid I can't let you marry my daughter. Oh, said the fool, and we came so far, and we did the whole water of life thing, and we did the sleepy thing, and we did the eating thing and the drinking thing. We even survived the sauna of death, but now we're in trouble, aren't we? Hey, said the guy with the faggots of wood, don't forget about me wherever I strew my wood. An army rises up, and he went and he scattered his twigs and his logs. He scattered them all over the field, and everywhere he threw down, up came soldiers on horseback, and soldiers with cannons, and soldiers with muskets, and soldiers with beautiful shiny uniforms saluting. And Tsar saw that, and the heart went out of him, and he said, "Okay, you may marry my daughter." And so the fool did, and she was lovely, and fortunately she loved him very much as well, because she realised that you don't really have to be that clever, really. The thing that matters is that you're kind to people and that you're welcoming and you do your best with what you've got. And so, as the result, they all did live happily ever after. I like to think about what adventures they might have had when they went out into the world of the flying ship. Do you think they all stayed together and went on adventures together? I'd like to think so. Where would you go now if you had a flying ship? Where would you like to fly to? Oh, it's a good thought, isn't it? If we could go anywhere. You could draw me a picture. I would love to see that. Where would you go if you had a flying ship? Maybe you could draw me a picture of the flying ship, but show me in the picture where you'd like to visit. Gosh, I'd like to see that. Have a brilliant day, everybody. Look after yourselves and let me know. I'm going to see you soon. Bye.